Back at you again. This is Sister Audrey Muhammad coming to you from 810 News Media Group this Sunday. How's your day going? I pray that you all have had a good day. You finally got your spiritual awareness on, and you after that you came home and got yourself together and moving out, moving out, moving out. I just wanted to say this morning before we get started, as always, we like to let world's greatest producer, Mr. Mickey Jordan, also known as Spacely Sprocket, to come on and give us our disclosure this morning today.
Yes, thank you. The views of Sister Muhammad are not those of 810 News Media Group. The floor is
Thank
yours,
you,
sister.
thank you, Mickey. I like to start us off with good news like that. Just wanted to say, you see me? All right, Winters. I went and picked it up. 810 News Media Group. I got my 810 merch on. I'm gonna be wearing it. I'm gonna start getting it. I'm gonna give me a couple more because I need to make sure I have them on when we go out in the community and we represent 810 to the fullest. We already know that 810 is the news that brings you the real news in the city. They bringing you the news that help you to get the right clues to go ahead and do what you got to do and research for yourself. You know, I have to do that and give a shout out to the whole 810 News Media family. We are a family. We stick together. We making sure things happen. Whichever direction we are in, we making sure things happen. We all bring you something that's a different persuasion or a different way of bringing the news to you, but we all gonna bring you something that's gonna be good and help you to live and survive. Today I got on a pink one and it came right in time. I was trying to decide which color to order when I got ready to order. And I said, let me order a pink one. I don't know why. Just let me order the pink one. But it came on time as I did post yesterday. I'm actually in Cincinnati. I'm actually in my son's studio that he uses. So you see all the stuff in the background. I had to make sure it was all safe for me to put on the TV. I love my son, but he said you can use my studio to record. I was gonna record from the dining room table, but he said, "Nah, go in my room. This is his man cave and what he do his stuff in. And sometimes he make music in here. Sometimes he do a few other things, but he did do a song, and one day I'll have to come on playing it with Rich Jones a few years ago. Him and Rich sat in my living room and made a song called "How Many We Gotta Lose." They used my granddaughter's voice to ask her how many we gotta lose. That was on the heels of us losing. I can't think of her name right off the top of my head. But the young lady that returned and was murdered with her grandson the Christmas night a few years ago. They made that song on the heel of that. You know, still my condolences and prayers go out to their family because that's always hard. But I did want to make sure I said that. So he do produce a few records. I keep trying to get him to do something for me. If I get stuck on some technological, I call him, hey, I need you to help me get this done. Or when I see him, I just hand him my phone and say, do this, do that. Show me, don't show me, just do it because I'm tired. I don't feel like looking at it. But yesterday, him and his wife, we all went out to eat and had a gender reveal party. So I had to put on both pink and light blue. And we got a girl coming. So congratulations again to my son, Mr. Dante Hendricks, and his lovely wife, Alicia Hendricks. Um, it was last minute they decided to go out and do it. I said, I can't miss this event. You know, we missed too many events in our family lives, but we got to start trying to make the time. And if it's available, go. We got technology. Even if you can't be present for some of the special moments, ask your family to pull up the Zoom, pull up Facebook Live, do something so that way you can always enjoy into family time. Family is so important, so important. We just want to make sure that we do it. He did. I asked him, I said, what should I talk about today? He did give me a topic, and I will be talking about that. But I want to once again give my condolences and prayers to the family of Councilman, the Honorable Councilman Eric Mays, and I did want to talk about him a little bit because it was very moving to me this weekend. Thought I was okay, doing a little bit better. Finally stopped crying every day. After weeks, but got there Friday and I couldn't hold it back. I couldn't hold it back. He gonna forever always be in my heart. I had to give him a final salute, tell him soldier job well done, because what he has done for us, even though we feel like things still need to move, he has given us the strength, the energy, the you know, the ability to know, go research this. I think we do more research now because of Eric Mays. I think we look at things in a different perspective because of Mr. Eric Mays. I think that we are onto some of the shenanigans, some of the BS, some of the things that we have had the wool pull over our eyes for so long and thought, no, these people wouldn't do us wrong. And we also thought that we could get our salvation through our governments, local, state, national. And I think he helped us to see that some of that stuff doesn't happen unless we, as a people, go out to unite ourselves together and do stuff together. Just my personal experience with Mr. Eric Mays. Um, as you all, some of you all know, I did run in 2021 against Liddell Lewis for the second ward. It was times that I had kind of given up because I seen so many groups that was backing her and supporting her. A lot of them have turned now against her because they see she wasn't the one that was doing this. Is not a kick to her or anything or to any of them, but they see that what they thought was going to happen did not happen. They thought what they thought she would do, she did not do. And that's to keep it as clean as I can possibly keep it. But it didn't happen. And so during that time, he stuck at my side. He went and took me, and he saw me getting weak. He took me and went door to door in areas that he knew people. And because of him, those people voted for me. And then on election day, he stood at the polls.
Please check your Wi-Fi network.
Uh-oh. He stuck at the he stuck at the polls for me, handed out literature, and I believe he changed the course of a lot of those votes. I think I only lost by 67 votes, considering that I didn't have that many people out there really helping me and assisting me. But I got a chance to meet a lot of great people. It put my name out there. People got a chance to know me in a different light. I just remember, and I have to post that flyer up. I sent out some literature near the course of campaigning. And Eric had already said, I think if you send out literature with me on it, you'll see people will start to turn it around. And it was at a time I think he thought I had turned on him or turned my back on him because the literature never went out. And he said to me, I guess you kind of shying away from me too, feeling like if you with me, that people won't vote for you. And one of the campaigners, and has actually gotten elected, actually told people that they would not support me if I supported Eric Mays. And I thought that was kind of let me know that you want to sit up and say you want to serve the people of your ward, which probably many people in that ward actually support Eric Mays and wish they was in the first ward. But for you to say that was just definitely to me in poor taste. It wasn't a team player's move. It wasn't a team player's statement. I prayed and said, I hope that statement wasn't true. But once they got on the council, they proved to me that what they were saying and what was said about them was the truth. Because ever since the day they got on that council, they have been against Councilman Eric Mays. And I pray that they change their heart so that whoever it is that comes on the council, if they still are blessed to stay on the council, that they change their heart. Change your heart. It's not about a personality. It's about the people. Eric was definitely a people's people. He was definitely a champion. He didn't care where you stayed at. He didn't even care if you didn't stay inside the city of Flint. So we're going to broaden that out. You could stay anywhere in the country. I believe anywhere in the world. And he tried to tell you what it is that you might could do to help you out, to make things better. Because he just wanted to make things better. He wanted to be fair. You know, when he talks about the young people selling the merch back last year with his pictures on it. He said, well, maybe God bless him. He didn't ask them for nothing. He didn't ask them to give him no money off of it. He said, go and let the young folks do what they do. Because Eric knew truly he was blessed. He knew financially he was blessed. Um, he shied away a lot of times from asking for money for stuff, but some of the things that had happened um, with us seeing it, um, we go to him and say, Eric, don't do that. If you need something, we can all any and possibly we all gave $5, you'd have more than enough money to take care of what you need to take care of. And I think at the time he knew that. But getting back to when I was campaigning, he seen those things and helped me out. And I ended up sending out that flyer. He took it and said it. He said, you did it. You sent it out. I thought you had given up on me, sister. I said, no, sir. I said it was other reasons why I hadn't sent it out. It was financial things, the reason why I hadn't sent it. But when I got my coins together, that was the first thing I made sure I did. And he was on that flyer with me. I love him forever. I forever. At the end of the campaign, that day after the election happened, he came to me. He said, now you see the mistakes that you made during your campaign and what you could have done better. I said, yes, sir. I absolutely do. So even in his correcting you, he he would definitely correct you in a way that was positive. I'll never forget it. I'll never forget that conversation. It will never happen like that again. And he also, if he only time I would see him really upset and he would have an issue with somebody was when he felt like that person was coming at him or did something or he knew something. So there's no Eric didn't go off sideways for no reason. If he started hollering and fussing at you, it's because he felt some of your energy wasn't right. That was his spirit. He could tell, sister, you need to be careful. you know, he give those pearls and stuff to a lot of us. It was young folks that's ready to come in there. That he see us as young folks. I ain't that young, but he see me as a young person because I'm younger than he is, and I'm a young person in politics. So it ain't about the physical age. It's about the politics. And I just hope and pray that whoever it is that come into the first ward, I would always say this: they can't step into his shoes. They have to make and recreate their own shoes. But I hope that the shoes that they recreate is the shoes that's going to be for the betterment of the community, the betterment of the people overall, and that it makes them a better person. Because if they come in hanging with that group that's up there, that's definitely going at the community and not serving the community properly, they will set them own selves up for their own demise. Let me say that again. With if you go along to get along and don't have a mind of your own and don't make your own decisions, or maybe those are your own decisions, then you're just showing us how wicked you are because you're not for the people. So quit telling people you're for the people and quit trying to make it seem like your votes is casted for the people because it's not. We still have dirty water here in Flint. We can't drink it. Well, I'm not in Flint right there at the moment, but still dirty water there in Flint that you can't drink. You can't drink it. Still have service lines that we learned that was a lie at the last meeting, haven't been completed, and we've been hearing for the last 5 or 6 years. We only got a few more lines to complete. Let me just tell y'all this. Can I just tell you this? It don't snow in the summertime, so why wasn't it done? The money was there when Mayor Weaver left office. The money was still there, and everything was still in place for you to get it done. So why isn't it done? Um, so don't say the weather was the reason why. Nah, that we ain't buying that line no more. We bought that. COVID ain't really prevalent out there. Business back almost to as usual. Well, at least business is as usual. It might not be back to full speed because people are still trying to recover, but it's back to usual. Can't use that as an excuse. Let's see what the excuse to be this coming up summer. We had a very mild winter. They already putting out stuff to do road work. So what's the problem? We need our service lines all complete. We already know that the judge has smacked us on the wrist, told us it's not right, and I'm gonna move myself on from that because I don't want to make this show totally about the politics here in Flint. But it bothers me because you can't talk about Councilman Eric Mays without talking about the politics of Flint. I'd like to thank those that I did get a chance to meet this weekend. Um, and say again, thank you to Councilman Eric Mays. Our brother Jonathan Joy came to town and was there on Friday and walked up to us and spoke to us. And I was like, who is this person at first? Then I realized that's the brother from Tennessee. Couldn't call his name right off. He said, y'all don't know Eric Mays has made Flint and the residents of Flint famous. He said on Facebook famous. He said, but we want to make them not only Facebook famous, we want to make them where the people are listening and hearing us, and that we get the help and assistance that we need in Flint. We hoping that some of the federal government people hear us and send us some more dollars that we need, or at least come in with a governance over the dollars that have been sent. Because I'm just gonna tell you, they have not been spent properly. They, I'll say it again, they ain't been spent properly. So federal government, come on, kick in. We need you. We need you all. State government, we need you. Quit saying what you gonna do for the people and what you done for the people, because Flint's still suffering. That means something ain't been done for the people. But we do need you all to step up the pace, make sure some stuff get done for us. Stop a lot of the shenanigans that's going on to help throw people off, so that way these frivolous ARPA dollars can be passed on to these frivolous groups and organizations that immediately in their paperwork. And I'm trying to figure it out. How is they getting money without submitting a budget to us? Are they submitting a budget? Mickey, can you tell me, have you seen them or heard them say that they submitted a budget to them to tell them what the monies exactly will be spent on? That,
I haven't heard nothing yet.
because I can guarantee you, if you look at the budgets of most of them, and not trying to be funny or and pick, because I done caused problems a couple weeks ago, and I had somebody say that my name shouldn't have been mentioned. I'm just gonna say it. I love you, dear Sister Tanya, but I wish you hadn't even mentioned my name. That just started a whole hour and a half conversation over something I could have settled in 20 seconds. That's why I just went to Mother Jones and told him, hey, it's an easy, quick fix. If you want me to help you to fix it, we can fix it, because what we could do is just help you with getting, making sure that you all get yourself HIPAA certified. And people are really having a hard time with the HIPAA stuff, because there's too many things that's violated when you don't make sure things are HIPAA certified. But you want to make sure that they submit some budgets. And this is just a word out to the city council, because I know they'll be listening. We want to make sure that budgets are coming in. You want to know how much off the top are they paying to their CEOs and the people of those boards? Because I can guarantee you, after I saw that one budget, and I won't even say the names, but most of y'all probably know who it is, and they got $90,000 off the top for the CEO's position. And then after they got the money, I don't even know how long the program stayed in process, but they upped and moved to Florida. I just say it like that. Y'all look and see who that was. And sometimes it comes and get funneled through churches. It don't be the pastor, but it be his wife or his children or his best friend, one of the organizers in the church or something that's helping them to get money. And how could you do that and call yourself people of God? You just don't work out for me. That's the spiritual side. But we do have a spiritual discernment to be able to tell when something ain't right, and the people can feel it that it's not right. So quit trying to hide behind the cross. Quit trying to hide behind whatever it is that you have, that you use as your religions. I don't want to say I'm picking on any of the Christian pastors, because I'm sure there's some other religious groups and denominations that's out there that's doing it also. I can't say that it's not people that's hiding behind the Holy Quran or hiding behind the Torah. Whatever you hiding behind, stop doing that and be right with the people is all we ask. So moving on from that, I'm sure I'll probably dip back into some of the government operations. My son said, "Mom, won't you talk about and discuss um, what's going on um, in the world from the disaster preparedness perspective?" Because I'll just tell you a little story. I was at work, and one of my dementia patients came in, and my coworkers were talking to her, because sometimes she'll be talking to you, having a normal conversation, and then she'll go right. and you know it left. You don't know what the world she's talking about. But she told them, you all need to prepare because we get ready to go into World War III. Y'all need to get yourselves prepared for it. And world, and you need to, she told them, you need to pray and turn your life over to God. That's what she told them. Well, I missed her part of the conversation. Came into the office and they're laughing and joking about her when she said it. I said, did you all ever think that maybe she might have something that's tangible and right that she's saying to you? And they kind of just like, well, I said, y'all don't realize that we already in the midst of war of Armageddon? It already begun years ago. And I said, it kicked off over there in with Russia invasion over in come on, Mickey. You know, so I've got so many things in my mind. What's the
Talk
name
about
of
Ukraine
there you go. In Ukraine.
when
They
they
ain't stopped they
when
ain't
they
stopped the war over there yet because they done took us and started making us concentrate on Gaza. But the war in Armageddon in Ukraine ain't even ended. It's still going on. But did you all know that there was little wars all over? Let me tell you, my daughter did her study abroad. I want to say it was a few years, several years ago. She went to Thailand to do her study abroad when she was working on her her bachelor's degree at Michigan State. And while she was over there, they got a chance to visit a concentration camp in Thailand. And the concentration camp, they had different levels and different stages of the concentration camp. So the one that she was actually on was one of the safe concentration camps where people go in and out. Okay. They got the ability to roam the yard. They said, but they had concentration camps that you can't get into those. If you go in there, you ain't never coming out. That's in Thailand. But you never see that or hear that on the news. I had somebody argue me down. No, they don't. How you know? Have you been over there? My daughter was there. How you gonna tell me that what my daughter done seen ain't the truth and you ain't never stepped foot out of the US? You ain't never even been to Canada. But you gonna tell me that what she was saying wasn't the truth. She went over there and actually experienced it because she was doing it for her sociology class. And so she had to go over there. She went to a university over there called Payap University. And that's where she did her study abroad in Thailand. And then she went down to Cambodia after that to do a class where to do where she was teaching English to some of the students over there for 2 weeks. I told her to go do it because the difference in her staying there an extra week and then coming home and staying there had to pay for a hotel. It wasn't that it was like $50 difference. You might as well stay over there and get you something else to put on your resume while you're there. So she stayed and she enjoyed that. She really didn't like Cambodia as much as she liked Thailand, and she just thought, oh, Thailand was the place. And I'm thinking she could go back. She'd go back. And she was staying there basically in a safe area, but they part of their class they had to go to that concentration camp where they were at. And that's what they called it as a concentration camp. But like I say, it was a safer area where they were at, where the people still had the ability to go and roam the yard. They couldn't go far. They couldn't leave that concentration camp. That's where they lived. But they had privileges. You know, so I'm not trying to be funny. Some of us know what that's like. And if you come in jail and you get work release, or you on a tether and you got released to be able to go out in the community and work, but you got to come back to that base. Basically the same thing, but in a different light. Okay, you know, eventually you're gonna get free, or you got the ability to get free. They don't have the ability to get free. That's the biggest difference between those two. But the method while you're there is pretty much the same. So while we were talking about all of that, I said this war over there in Gaza, and I won't speak on it too much because I don't speak outside of what I have permission to talk to from the Nation of Islam. We let the minister speak for us. We let Minister Farrakhan and those who he designate to speak for us with that. So I invite you to go back and listen to Savior's Day, his Savior's Day address that he did on Sunday, February the 25th, 2024. Go to noi.org. Now I'm just gonna tell you, I've been on YouTube and you can't find it because they try to ban the minister from off of YouTube. Anything they can do to silence the word of God and the word that's true, that's gonna help us save ourselves, they kind of ban that kind of stuff from off of YouTube and everything. So just know, please go back and visit his lecture. He spoke a lot on some of that stuff and what's going on over there and what it is. His advice is for the U.S. government, what his advice is for the Israeli government, his advice period on what it is we can do to make this better. It's about land, and they want to take over the land over there. You all do know that. That's what usually happens when you have a war. It's about land, conquering different land and organizations. Um, and if they can't control you, what they will do. We saw it in the Iraqi war. We saw it in the Iranian war. We saw it in a whole lot when they can keep two people. And I'm talking about those who control the monies. Because that's where the debt is. The debt of the war is what controls the war. So if they can't keep you in debt, there is no war. So just know that there is a small war, I think, that's taking place in Haiti right now again. I don't know if Mickey, am I correct? Have you heard that about what's going on in Haiti a little bit?
I'm not all the way for sure, but I've been hearing some rumblings.
Yeah, there's some rumbling. So I'm just gonna say it, whether you like it or not. When they had the earthquake down in Haiti, do you all know that they had been investigators saying that that was a man-made um, disaster, like with Katrina, they found the evidence of the bombs that broke the levee down in New Orleans that flooded out the Fifth Ward because big money people wanted the Fifth Ward, and they knew the value of that land that was down there. If you look at over down in Haiti, uh, is not far from being a man-made disaster if it wasn't, because people capitalize off of that. And word is from some of the Haitians that have visited the United States since then, or even by that time, since that catastrophe happened, is that Haiti is now unofficially owned by the Clinton and Rodmans. Yes, we talking about the former president and his wife. And their families. They say that they own more than 50% of the land in Haiti, so that's why they call them the unofficial owners of Haiti, because they own more than the land and the property down there. Now, let me tell you something that the nation did when that disaster happened. We all took and did a fundraiser. We bought a big filtration system that we sent down there to Haiti that was solar powered. We had people to go down there and train some of the local residents on how to use it. I forgot how many hundreds of gallons of water a day it filtered. And the reason why we sent it, because the water down there had been contaminated by, um, allegedly, by the U.S. military that was there by dumping waste into the water. And I'm talking about um, uh, bowel movements, urine, all that stuff, and it contaminated the water. So the people started coming up with cholera. And the only way they could get it was to have a filtration system put in there, much like what we did in Flint, to get rid of all of the bacterias and things that's in the water. Well, mysteriously, one night after the thing shut down, the next day they came and it was gone. It wasn't your normal size where somebody could just go and pick it up and just carry it off. It couldn't be carried off by two or three people. So what happened to it? Never found out what happened to it. But just know it did disappear. Um, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, at the time when the water crisis started in Flint, suggested the same thing for the city of Flint. This machine could have taken the water directly out of the Flint River and purified it, where it's drinkable. No bacteria, the pharmaceuticals is removed from the water. Everything that was in the water could have been removed and made it drinkable and sustainable for us. Um, it was like rejected at that particular time, because the people's trust in the Flint River water, they would have trusted that that was just going to be okay. I can tell you that. I can agree with them. Um, just know that he did speak directly with some of the officials in Flint. One was being Councilman Eric Mays. If you don't know it by now, you should know it that he loved the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. That was a highlight of his life to be up on stage with him and to take a picture with the minister. But it was rejected at that time. So, but what else can the nation do? Just send bottles of water. That's all they can do. Pay for water to be delivered and brought to the people in Flint. So, with saying that, there's different things that you can do and start preparing yourselves in your home, no matter where you stay at, because I can guarantee you, no matter what city you live in, your water is contaminated with some bacteria, pharmaceuticals. When people dump their pharmaceuticals, if you got used medicine that's expired, do not dump them in the toilet and flush them out. That goes right into the water. It dissolves into the water. It puts all kind of medications and pharmaceuticals back into our drinking water system, and it's not filtered out at the water filtration plant. There's a test that was done by brother Dr. Wesley Muhammad. Some of you all know him as True Islam. If you don't know him, go look at his videos. He is awesome. He has he has a website. I think it's called True Islam. But look him up. I think that's what it's called. But look him up, and he does a lot of the studies and tests and research. He's a part of the Nation of Islam research team, so he does a lot of research that they give the minister for what's going on, keep him up in the breast. Brother Wesley Muhammad went and researched Atlanta water system. And when they tested the water going into the filtration plant, the same pharmaceuticals that was in the water when it went into the filtration plant is the same pharmaceuticals was in the water as it was being dispensed out to the home. So just know, if it had a lot of meth or whatever it had in there that was medications, they use a lot of different stuff and they dump it different ways. He said it was all still in that water. Now I got a whole house filtration system and I talk about it all the time. And my filters remove that kind of stuff from the water. It takes the pharmaceuticals out the water, so we're not ingesting that. But even still with that, I'm still afraid to use the water. Now it might be safer because I listened to my sister Anna when she was on Sister Circle last week talking about the bottles of distilled water. And I do have the reverse osmosis tank on my sink, and I use that water because it's not only is it going through being filtered, it's also going through the reverse osmosis system that's on my tap. So I do get good water that's usable, and I use that. And I'm gonna have to start using that more, but I do use that to wash like my vegetables and my beans and do stuff, and I do use it occasionally with cooking and stuff like that. But I don't use the water from the regular tap. Still, I'm still gun shy. Still don't trust it. But that is something that you should do. Every home should do, at least consider that reverse osmosis, because that'll remove stuff from the waters too. I showed my filter before when I first took it out, and it was brown. And that's because a lot of copper and stuff that's coming through the system is getting picked up into that filter. We want to make sure that is. And then just know, when you get those filters, it will make you use more water, because you got to remember, a lot of that stuff in the water is for fillers. And now you're pulling the fillers out, you get what's left over, which makes you use a little bit more water. But it's better to use more water, have a little higher water bill, and be healthier longer than in the long run have to go and start spending a whole lot of money on medical costs. But I will say this, I'm trying to find um, different ways of making myself healthier. My sister Janice Muhammad, may Allah be pleased with her. She returned to Allah in June of 2021. She used to always tell me, stop eating so much salt, make you want to drink more water. And your body will require more water the more salt you take. You can't make yourself more dehydrated by eating too much salt and not drinking enough water. But when you start talking about disaster preparedness and having to ration out your foods, you want to cut back on your salt intake, because the salt intake will increase the water, which means you're gonna need more water in your home, so that way you could compensate for it. But she used to do a lot of things with disaster preparedness. She actually got a book out, and I need to get in touch with, not in Cobra, CBOP, that citizens group that we have in Flint with Bishop Bernadette Jefferson and Mother Deloney in them on it, because the young lady did call. She called me. She said, I'm the one who helped your sister get that book together and devise it. And I'm like, really? And this is definitely a survival tool guide. And I'm going to have to get back in touch with them, because I want to make sure that, and she wanted me to help her with doing some disaster preparedness classes, because she knew that I knew a little bit of it too. Now, we were the product of a mama who joined the Nation of Islam in 1958. No, I wasn't born in 1958. My sisters were. They some more years older than me. But just know, when my mama joined the Nation of Islam, she had no problem with hiding and storing foods, canning foods, making sure our home was prepared if we needed anything. I'm going to just tell you, kitty litter. Sometimes you go to the dollar store. I saw this girl with a grocery basket full of all the kitty litter in the store. You need stuff like that, because if you're eating and you're using the bathroom, you have a bowel movement, you got to have a way to get rid of it and cover up the smell, right? A better way, kitty litter. Sometimes we don't think about it. We just think, oh, that's just stuff for animals. No, it's stuff for humans too, especially if you're in a case and then digging a hole and burying it. That's what the cats do when they're outside. They take care, they know nature. They know how to get rid of what they done. But we just have to make sure that we start to learn what it is that we need to do with that. Usually if I go out of town, like I got a couple of places out of town that I frequently visit, here at my son's house. I also visit my cousin in Cleveland. I go there, I might take a couple of extra cans of canned goods and put this on the shelf just in case when I come back to visit. Because I know if I'm here visiting and it's a disaster here, I got to go instantly into disaster mode. I got beans on the shelves, and they keep water, stuff like that. But I'm trying to help them with keeping some stuff on the shelf, because I have to think about me if I'm there. I want to make sure I'm good and taken care of. But plus, I want to make sure my family is good and taken care of. So I did want to wrap that up with saying, if there's something that you would like to see me talk about, and I know sometimes you put it in the thread and I may see it in the thread, inbox me, because I will go and try to find information to make sure I bring to you, especially about what it is that we can do. And in saying that, there's groups and organizations out there, and I keep saying, I, I will be getting with Rose Morrow this week, because she know how to go out and find grants and stuff like that. And sometimes those grant dollars can be used with educational things to help us to be able to do and put on great seminars and stuff in our different communities. And we don't realize it, and help to buy supplies that can be given away as you know, door prizes, but it can be stuff that can help make your house safe. That's our goal, is to make things safe for us to live in. I don't want to have my house totally safe and my next door neighbor is not safe. Some of us say forget our neighbors. I mean, let's be for real. Every man for himself. Let's be for real. We got to learn how to do it. It was at one point in time I heard a brother minister that was teaching, and I had to laugh because I said it all along, and I said it to my family. Y'all don't want to prepare yourselves? When a disaster hit, I'm locking and boarding up my doors. Y'all ain't getting in. You ain't getting none of my food, and I'm going to sit in there and eat good, and you going to be starving. And I would say stuff like that. I mean, that was for real. For real, for real. Now I'm saying I can't feed everybody, but what I can do is go out and help everybody to learn how to save themselves. That's me, because I know I have a lot, but I don't have enough to feed everybody and to feed the multitude. So I would just like to help them learn how to do it themselves and ration things off to where they can be able to better prepare their own homes and their own families. Get those pick up and go bags where you got them close to where if something happened and you have to get up and get out the house. Make sure you could do it. Safety on a day-to-day basis, true story. I have a cousin that she was doing some work in her house and all of a sudden house caught on fire. Something burst into flames. What saved her was her purse and her car, her keys was sitting near the door, or at least where she was at. And it made me be conscious of that. When I go to bed at night, I keep my stuff kind of close to me where I know where it's at. If it ain't on my nightstand, it's somewhere close to where I know I can pick it up and go out the door with it. Everything. Just don't leave your stuff all over the house and leave your purse in the living room when you go to bed. And keys. I know a lot of us like to hang our keys up on a hook by the door. As long as it's by the door where you got to go out, that's okay. But what if you got to go out a window? What if you got to go out another door? Think about that. Have keys put out, around some place to where it's easy and accessible to you. Just in closing, keep each other in prayer. I have a neighbor. I hope she's watching. But my neighbor called me and she had fallen. She's older, and this bring up a serious concern to me. She's an older neighbor. She thought I might be home. She wanted me to come over and help her. She couldn't get up, but she had her phone right there with her. She was close enough to the door to where she could unlock the door and open the door. But she failed, and she wanted me to come over. And I said, "Let me call my daughter." So she called a couple of other neighbors and got somebody over to get her up. She called me back. You could hear it in her voice. No, I called her back a little later to check on her because I had called my daughter. You need to call her, go check on her, make sure she okay. But we all need to think about safety and security with us in our homes, especially if we live alone. It can happen to any of us. It's not an age on this. It don't make a difference how old you are, how young you are. I knew a young man, he was probably in his late 20s, early 30s, was in his house. They went to his house and found him deceased. He had a blood clot and didn't know it, you know? So it doesn't make a difference about an age. But I told her, I said, get you a lockbox. Put a lockbox on your door with a key in the lockbox. If you got a key in there, make sure at least one or two of your trusted neighbors, trusted family members know the code to that lockbox. They don't have to have a regular key to your house, but at least know the code to that lockbox. But I could take you even a step further. Call to your 911 dispatchers, okay? If you got 911 dispatchers, or if you got that emergency button, the lifeline, call them and give them the code to that lockbox. So say for instance, if something was happening to her, maybe her house on fire, I'll call the fire department and say, somebody need to be dispatched and give them her address. We see a fire over there. 911 dispatch knows the code to the house so that if they could get there to the house and it's safe for them to at least get that key, because the fire could be on the other side of the house. Of course, they're going to start trying to put the fire out, but they need to get in. They'll kick the door in, but if they could get it and save the door, they could get on in the house and get them. Or it could be, it don't necessarily have to be a fire. I just use a fire. That might not be the best example. But what if she called them and said, I failed and I can't get up. Nobody has a key to the door. Nobody can get in the house. And now they got to kick the door in to get to you. So that's a whole nother cost with the door and to save you, but you really ain't in bad way where you're not dying, but you fail. You just need help and assistance. Being an occupational therapist, I've had two patients in particular. This has happened numerous of times. The one patient told me, she said, I was on the floor for several days. Elderly lady. She couldn't move. And the only thing she kept screaming and hollering was, help! Somebody help me, please. Somebody help me. So her dog knew she was in distress and was barking. A man came to fix and repair the house next door. And in between the dog um, barking, he heard her hollering, help me, and came to the door and said, The door is locked. And she said, and she hollered out her daughter's phone number, and they called the daughter and came and got her. But she had been there on the floor for at least 2 to 3 days. No food, no way to get nothing to drink, no anything. So by the time I got her, she had been in the hospital, had gone through rehab. Thank God she was okay enough to come back home, and we were able to do home therapy with her. Another example, a patient of mine had we kind of laughed with me and her laughed about hers. Saw her, left her 5 days later. I go back to see her, and I'm like, "Oh, you got a new door? It's so nice. I like this door." She said, "Well, let me tell you why I got a new door." The lady was hard of hearing and wore hearing aids. She took her hearing aids out of her ear, had her emergency line thing on her right there by her, but pushed the button by accident, which the emergency does dispatch say, "Are you okay?" Because they call through their system, calling her phone. She's not answering it because she don't hear it. She don't hear them talking to her and asking her, "Is she okay?" So of course they dispatch 911. They come out, they knock on the door, no answer, no answer. They kicks the door in to make sure she okay. Now she got the expense of repairing a door, getting a whole new door. And she was in the bed, and when she wakes up and they taps her, she like, "What y'all doing in my house?" Nothing was wrong with her. This a fluke accident. Had she had a lockbox on the door with a key in it, dispatch would have known to tell the dispatchers when they came to police and the fire department, this is the code. You could get the key and just go in. Or if you don't feel comfortable with that, have them where they can go to a neighbor and know what neighbor it is to have a set of keys to the house. And they can always go there. But that's just something to think about as we get older and we start to maneuver around. And then set yourself up with a system, especially if you're elderly and you're in a house. I won't call out my Facebook friend that I talked to the other day. We talked about a little of this on the phone. Have somebody, you're staying alone, have somebody that you call and do it routinely every day that you call to let them know you okay. In the mornings, have somebody you routinely talk to at night or something and let them know you okay. Call them in the mornings. It's okay to do that. And because we got to be the keepers of each other. Now, that was how we in 1985, as I closed, I'm for real close out. I ain't going to do like the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I love him. Love the minister. He tells us, "I'm going to close us out." And it'd be an hour later, he still be talking to us, but he be giving us some pearls and dropping them in. So we can't deny it. But 1985, my grandmother and my auntie had a routine to where they called each other every morning, somewhere between 9 and 10. Auntie calls my grandmother. She doesn't answer the phone. She said, "Okay, she might be in the back." Gave her a little bit of time, called her again. She didn't answer the phone. They sent somebody over to the house. My cousin over there said, "Oh, the door is open," but the screen door was locked. She in there. She okay. The blinds is open. No problem. Leave. Call her back again. She still don't answer the phone. She calls me and my mother said, "Come on and go with me. Let's go over there. I'm scared to go by myself." Because usually you know what that kind of means. We get to the house, the screen door is still locked. We yank it. Because them old doors, back then we just yank them and pull them. It wasn't an armor guard door. So this all yank it and pull it. We calling her name. We could see smoke in the house a little bit. Not too bad, but a little smoke. She had a pot on the stove where she was cooking some rice. So my mom goes to the kitchen to turn it off, and I turn instantly to go toward her bedroom, and she's in the bathroom on the floor. She had had a stroke, but she survived it for several months. She lived, and then it just turned. She ended up returning to Allah, returning to God, dying. But they had a routine. Had they not had that routine, we don't know how long she would have stayed there on that floor. So apparently, from the night before she closed the blinds, it was in early March, before she had closed the blinds, that had happened, and she tried to go to the bathroom. And when she was in the bathroom, I guess she had a stroke and tried to get up, and she was on the floor between the toilet and the tub, because the tub sat right in front of the toilet. The toilet and the sink sat on the opposite wall. And so we ended up getting her to the hospital. Like I said, she lived for a couple of more months that year in 1985. But that's something that they had as a routine that they made calls. So I advise you, implore you to set up some type of emergency system in your house. let the babies know where they should go to for fire drills. If it's a fire, throw a sock or something out the window so somebody knows somebody is up in that particular room of the house. We got to just start talking about doing more things with fire safety. We want to talk about the smoke detectors. They don't always work. You got to have a backup plan. And that's a good step. I'm not going to knock them. That's a good step moving in the right direction. But have a backup plan and know what you're doing. So I love you all. I thank you all for tuning in. I thank Mickey for making himself always available. And I thank ATN News Media Group, family, everybody for everything that they do. You all, if you don't do anything else, do something good for yourself, do something good for someone else. This is day 14 of Ramadan, and we're doing good. I would like to also say that we're closing out our Savior's Day drive that we're doing, and we all are asked to donate toward the Savior's Day drive. I am going to put up a special link for myself if you all are willing to give me any type of donations that go to the Nation of Islam. You know, we always give back to the community. And anything that you give, if you look on there and it say give $25, I'm not going to ask you to necessarily give $25. I would love for you to, but you can feel free to give whatever you give. I had a friend one year, she said, I just don't have much to give. She gave me, I believe, $3. But guess what? That $3 meant more to me than somebody who could give a whole lot that could have given more. So it doesn't make a difference what you could donate to me. Please do. And I will be remiss in my duty if I did not say, please donate to 810 News Media Group, Cash App, hashtag 810 News Media Group. Give it. Some of you all have put out that you commit to giving $25 a month for 6 months. Please, 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 we need more sponsors, more people to help with giving to 810. Tune in to all of our shows this week. You see it, come out and visit us at the mosque if you can. I love everyone who we saw this weekend who came up and said they tuned in to 810 News Media Group and they knew who we was and wanted to just give us a shout out that we were doing a great job and to keep doing it. So in parting, I'd like to wish you all peace. Have a beautiful week. And until next week, send those inboxes to me and let me know subjects that you want us to touch on. Love you.